This video contains content that may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. I really believe that it is time for us as a people, black people, to have a real, honest discussion about us. I attended that Million Man meeting that Farrakhan had in Houston. And I think that it is time for us to have a black people's meeting about where are we going. As a child, I never thought that at the age I am now, that black people would still be begging for the same things that my grandparents were begging for. I thought that we would be further along than this by now. And I still see the same things happening. That there are people amongst us that, for some reason, they don't want to see other black people do well. And why do we allow these people like this amongst us? I just have no idea. Certain people should be rejected because they don't come to help. They come to hurt and destroy. I don't know this guy, Clarence Thomas, personally, but for the things he does as a black person, for the things that black people have been through and are still going through, I just don't understand this man's views. The same thing with a lot of these other people that I see. And these people are being plastered over the media as spokesmen for black people. And why do we allow this? I know that we don't control these airwaves, but there's still something we can do. Our voices can still be heard. When one of us is being attacked, I just don't understand why we just stand around. And what I'm saying is people say, oh, I'm advocating violence. How am I advocating violence when you are the one that's beating me? And I'm just simply trying to defend myself. It wouldn't be no violence if you wouldn't start no violence. No one wants violence. Everyone that I feel should at least want to live their life in peace, learn as much as they can until it's time for them to exit. Now, all this stuff that people do in between, some people just are not wrapped too tight. And as I say, we as a people, we allow certain things that we shouldn't be allowed. We shouldn't allow certain things to go on in our community that we allow. And I understand that, hey man, because I'm from the hood myself, and I understand that people have to do what people have to do to survive. But to go overboard with it and just essentially kill people, to rape women and children, boys, we don't need that. We don't need somebody that's hanging around waiting for you to leave so they can break into your house. We don't need that in the black community. It's time for, really, like I'm saying, for us to have a real discussion and conversation, because what about the men that one of the black men that call themselves men? Why do they just stand around and not step up and be a man? I mean, I'm just going by what I see. I see too many black women getting pushed around, beat up, slapped around, and black men are either standing around or they are nowhere around. And that is just bad. Who are supposed to be the protectors of the neighborhood? And then black men want to get mad when women talking about they stronger. Because they exemplifying strength. But men, we are not exemplifying the strength that God gave us. As I say, what is our purpose here? These discussions that we need to have, we kind of afraid to have because we don't know who listens. But damn, who's listening? Because it is a discussion that we need to have. And hey, I have nothing to hide. What I say once, I can say twice. And I can only speak the truth. What is right before you, what I see. I see black people making the same mistakes generation after generation. Maybe that's what they mean by a generational curse. Because each generation does the same thing. You want to be diplomatic with people that are not truly diplomats. You want to have a discussion with a person who doesn't want to hear what you have to say. As a child, I used to always wonder if black people made the pyramids and created this and math and all these other great things, astrology, astronomy, well, how the hell did we not come up with the idea of weapons? Well, black people was peaceful. But yeah, we supposed to still know about these things. And how did this one group of people come up with all these defense mechanisms, the Trojan horse, tanks, guns, armor? Where did they get the knowledge to make all of that if black folks had all the knowledge? And, as a person like that question always stayed with me. And I always want to try to find an answer to that. So when I look in the scriptures, because people can say what they want about let me tell you one thing about the Bible that I noticed is that a lot of things in the Bible is like was copied from previous texts. And if it was copied from another text that was older than that, and so on and so forth, there has to be some truth in it. Because he didn't make it, create it himself. He copied it off of something else. And when I read it, I can get understanding from it. Maybe these people that really don't believe in the scriptures can't get an understanding when they read it. But I can get an understanding when I read the scriptures. And, the scriptures, because guess what? We are stubborn ass people. You can call it what you want. We don't do what's right. Even today, in the state that we're in, we don't do what's right as a people. So, God allowed another people to be over you. And it states that in the scriptures. And it told you what type of people they were going to be. They even told you where they was coming from. The North. So here it is today. Black people, except for most of the ones in Africa, have been scattered. The black people that were surrounding Africa and these other lands been scattered. And the ones that were in the northern parts of Africa, which includes the Middle East, they have been removed from the land. And people won't tell them exactly who they are. But as I say, is that we need to have a discussion about who we are and what's the plan for us. Are we going to still stand back and allow this onslaught to happen to us? How long will black people have the mindset to want a job instead of creating jobs? what really keeps black people from succeeding is we just hate to come together. We hate to come together. We will find any minuscule reason not to come together with another black person. This is a relief of a tank in Mesopotamia. Way back then, look at the wheels at the bottom. That is a tank. Now, where did they get the knowledge to make this? And the Egyptians and all the smart black folks didn't. Well, prior to God sending out the message that, hey, man, you black people, y'all finna be taken over by some white people. Prior to that, you had the fallen angels. And the fallen angels, one in particular, taught these people how to make weapons. Now, whether you want to call these fallen angels aliens or whatever, that's on you. But what other logical explanation will there be if the Egyptians have all this knowledge, but they didn't know how to make tanks and weapons, or at least make things that can defend, or they have some type of defense against their weapons? See, I was a kid reared up in the early 60s. And I just knew that black people was tired of being pushed around. And they had had enough. But something happened. We went backwards instead of continuing forward. And today we have a bunch of bootlicking coons who just try and get themselves known, try and get themselves paid at the expense of the rest of the black community. But I'm going to tell y'all this one thing. I am not speaking as a defeated black person. And I understand that it is just going to take some time to weed out the bad apples. And that, sooner before later, black people will rise. Because as I said, I believe in the scriptures. And it states that as well. But people have to remember this one thing, is that I know a lot of people wish and hope and pray for peace. But there will be no peace, my people. I'm afraid to tell you. I hate to be the one to tell you. But I got to tell you. Is that there will be no peace. There will be nothing but division. People got to divide themselves up on right and wrong. Not on race and color. Because as I say, what about guys like Daniel Cameron? So you just can't look at race. It's either this person is right or either this person is wrong. I don't care how they try to say it or how they try to put it. Them coming into the black community first with this corona vaccination, knowing the history of them, is just downright disrespectful. They want to talk about black people's health. Why is black people's health so bad? It's because of the foods we eat, mainly. It's because of the life that we have to live here in America. Constant terror. Constantly being depressed. You think black people like turning on the television and hearing about some black woman house getting raided and they got the woman naked and all that type of stuff and the wrong damn house? Are they killing some other black woman because they're going to the wrong damn house, got bad information? You think we like that? You think that we like seeing a black person being choked out by a cop and his last words were calling to his dying mother? You think that we like that? And I'm quite sure that your scientists have done tests. You know the psychological effect, and it's going to affect us physically as well from the stress. So if black people's health is so bad, it's because of the stressful lifestyle that we have to live here in America. Now, what have you done to alleviate that? And they know good and well black people do not want to take this damn coronavirus. But they're going to use this coronavirus as a weapon. You not taking a vaccination is another way of denying you employment. Maybe somewhere to stay. Just like they did in the 60s and in the 70s when all black children had to get vaccinated before they went to school. And I know a lot of kids, especially white kids, they didn't get vaccinated. So, hey, we as a black nation, we got to have a serious talk about what are we going to do. They bringing in all these immigrants and they're going to take the damn vaccination. So, where do black people stand in this equation? I mean, what they going to do with us? They're going to kill us all off? Because I still see black people being shot down by cops. I still see that happen. I still see black people that are in power positions, these chiefs or whatever, justifying the actions of what these other cops do, and everybody knows it's wrong. Here's another thing that I've also noticed as a child. When they make these movies about the aliens coming to Earth, why is it always the aliens coming to attack somebody? I mean, never a movie about aliens coming in pieces. Always about the aliens coming to make war. And if you thought about it, if the aliens came to planet Earth, exactly who would they make war with? And if people try to equate these angels with aliens, and God says he's coming back to save his people, which people on planet Earth need saving? But ask yourself this question: how can God save you if you are not willing to save yourself?